as far as coding tools, I have started using OpenAI Codex. I do like the kind of more fine-grained, doing PRs into GitHub. So I have a couple projects that I'll kickstart on Replit Agent, and then maybe start working on it with Codex at the same time or in parallel. And then you mentioned APIs. One of the things that often does inspire ideas or projects is experimenting with an API. So I remember, when I started playing around with Hume AI, I did a project where I connected it to Twilio and gave ourselves a phone number. And I really just did that because I wanted to kind of play around with that API. And I've done the same for portfolio companies like VideoDB, which is a media first API. I've done a couple of things with Falcor DB on the knowledge graph side of things. I think most recently, I wanted to try the X API, and that kind of led to building VCpedia, which is kind of a crunch base that's built on top of Twitter data. But that project was inspired by the desire to play with an API that I thought could be interesting to pair with LLMs.
Interesting. But when you use API, when you play around with APIs, and since you said you don't check code and so on, so how do you evaluate, this API works good? And is it depend on the outcome you get? Or, I'm curious about how you...
So I'll often... I feel like I have a pretty good memory for startups. So I remember when I was thinking about doing a daily newsletter for VCpedia, I feel like I had seen Resend on Twitter a couple of times, and I felt like it was kind of an up-and-coming API first email service. So I thought, I feel like, newer APIs tend to be kind of simple. They take advantage of the latest and greatest. So I felt like it was a good opportunity to try it. Also, I like the idea of just like supporting early stage startups and experimenting with them as well. It's just kind of a fun way to build relationships with founders. It's just like using their API and open sourcing projects on top of it.